Growing up, I struggled with horrible gut health. Not only did I have constant stomach issues, but I also dealt with headaches, brain fog, and inflammation. It took me months of trial and error, but I eventually found solutions that transformed my health. The key was understanding just how deeply gut health impacts the entire body. It's easy to assume that an unhealthy gut only leads to digestive problems, but what might surprise you is that your gut affects way more than just your digestion. Ever heard of the gut-brain axis or the gut-skin axis? It's pretty common that people with digestive issues also have problems with headaches, brain fog, or skin issues. Just like I did. Most people think it's a coincidence. Guess what? It's not. Many people with these symptoms have one thing in common: leaky gut syndrome, an increased gut permeability which can allow harmful molecules out into your body. But don't worry, it's easily fixable. In this video, I'm going to break down a simple, easy to follow framework that will help you heal your gut once and for all. And at the end, I'll share a trick that can speed up the healing process substantially. There are 5 main categories to focus on, but the last one is the most important and can make or break your progress. So don't forget it. Let's dive into category 1, diet. You probably guessed it. If you want to heal your gut, you need to pay attention to what you're putting into it. There are foods to remove and there are foods to add. Let's start with what to remove. First up is the obvious one, sugar. But wait, not all sugar is bad. People often say that all sugar is the same. And while it may be the same at a molecular level, nutritionally, it's a different story. Processed sugars are absorbed much faster by your gut, meaning they're taken up by your small intestine before they can provide nutrients to your large intestine. This can lower the amount of good bacteria in your gut. On the other hand, natural sugars from sources like fruit are digested slower, which allows them to nourish your large intestine and feed your gut microbiome. So, you don't have to cut out sugar entirely, just switch to natural sources. Besides sugar, you'll want to cut out any known food sensitivities. Some common ones are dairy, gluten, and nuts. Eating foods you're sensitive to can damage your gut lining, the very thing we're trying to repair. If you're not sure what your sensitivities are, you can always try an at-home testing kit. If you've removed these foods and still feel off, there are 3 things that you can try. First, you can try an elimination diet where you cut out possible trigger foods and add them back slowly. Second, just give it time. Gut healing can take months, sometimes even over a year. And third, focus on optimizing the rest of the categories that I'm about to cover. Now let's talk about what to add. Start with foods that are gentle on your gut but also nutrient dense. Meat and fruit are great options for most people, and they work well if you're following an elimination diet too. If you know dairy or whole grains aren't an issue, feel free to add those in, but if you're unsure, I would hold off. Also, include probiotic-rich foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, or fermented dairy. And finally, incorporate foods high in omega-3s, fatty fish, grass-fed meat, or pasture-raised eggs. These will help reduce inflammation, which is a key factor in leaky gut. But don't stop here. Most people think diet is enough to heal the gut, but it's not. Every category I'll cover is important, so don't skip ahead. The next one is often overlooked: exercise. Whether you lift weights, go for a walk, or do bodyweight exercises, any movement is good for your gut. Physical activity helps strengthen the muscles in your digestive tract and increase the variety of bacteria in your gut. It also improves the integrity of your gut barrier, which directly combats leaky gut. It's a pretty simple category. Just move your body and you're already doing better than half of the population. Unlike exercise though, the next category is something few people know, but will drastically benefit your gut health: supplements. There are 4 supplements that are great for leaky gut, and number 4 is by far the most effective. The first one is curcumin. You may have never heard of this before, but you've probably heard of turmeric. Curcumin is simply the active ingredient in turmeric responsible for its benefits. This supplement is one of the best for reducing inflammation and improving the barrier function in your gut. If you decide to take this, make sure you take it with a meal that contains fat for the best absorption. The next supplement is even better for inflammation: fish oil, otherwise known as omega-3s. The omega-6 to 3 ratio in your body is what affects your total inflammation levels. The goal is to get between a 2-to-1 and a 4-to-1 ratio. Most people have over a 10-to-1 ratio. In this day and age, many foods are higher in omega-6, which is why supplementing with omega-3s is so important, especially if you're not regularly consuming fatty fish or grass-fed meats. And when you do supplement, it's essential to store your omega-3s in the fridge to keep them fresh and potent. The oil can oxidize if left out and can become toxic, doing the opposite of what it should do when taken. Now the next supplement is probably pretty obvious, but still worth mentioning: probiotics. Now if you're eating probiotic-rich foods, there's really no need for this, but assuming you have a very damaged gut, taking a supplement can speed up the recovery. This should generally be refrigerated too, but some brands freeze dry the bacteria, keeping them active for long periods of time. Now, all of these supplements will definitely help your gut recover, but this last one can directly repair your gut lining. L-glutamine. This is an amino acid found in protein-rich foods, but it's a no-brainer when it comes to supplementation for gut health. It directly repairs your gut lining and maintains a healthy barrier for the future. You can mix a scoop of it into your water in the morning or between meals. Take it every day and stay consistent. The results will follow. If you've seen any other videos of mine, I always emphasize the importance of one key thing when it comes to health. Most people overlook it and ignore it, but it affects all aspects of your health, including your gut. The fourth category is stress. Everybody experiences this, some more than others, but generally we all experience it nearly every day. It's not about removing it entirely. It's simply about limiting it. Stress has harmful effects on your gut, including altering bacteria levels, increased inflammation, increased sensitivity, and the worst, increased gut permeability. Quite literally the definition of leaky gut. Stress is definitely hard to deal with, and everybody responds differently. I just tell everyone the same thing. Take a few deep breaths. Eating healthy meals and exercising can help your stress too, as well as directly affecting your gut health like we already talked about. Personally, I like to journal, and journaling doesn't have to be like a high school writing class. I hate writing, but journaling is actually pretty relaxing to me. Just write whatever your mind is thinking onto the paper. Trust me, you'll feel great. Now, once you optimize these 4 categories, you're on the perfect track for a healthy gut. But there's one last category that can throw you off the rails entirely: alcohol. Everyone knows alcohol is bad for you, even the people who drink it. It creates problems across your entire body. It's not just your liver, your brain, your heart, your bones, and of course, your gut. It alters bacteria in your digestive tract, damages the gut lining, and causes inflammation. Now, personally, I don't drink, and I never have, so it's easy for me to say to just stop drinking, but I get it. People like to have a good time or just kick back on a Friday and relax. All I ask is that you try to limit it, and if you think you can go the distance and remove it, absolutely do so. I would say try to limit it to once a week at most, and do your best to drink less and less. Your body will definitely thank you. Remember when I said I'd show you how to speed up the healing process? Once you've dialed in these 5 categories, you can boost your recovery dramatically with one more factor: sleep. But sleep isn't as simple as just getting more hours each night. To truly optimize your sleep for better gut health and overall wellness, check out my video on that next.